Welcome, everyone. Today's episode tackles a question that plagues both individuals and organizations. Why do cyber scams keep succeeding even as technology improves? To kick things off, can you explain why human psychology is so central to the effectiveness of cyber attacks?
Absolutely. While firewalls and encryption are essential, attackers increasingly target the human mind or habits, emotions, and decision-making shortcuts. In fact, Verizon's 2023 data breach investigations report found that 82% of breaches involved a human element, such as social engineering.
That's a staggering statistic. So it's not just about technical loopholes. Scammers are really exploiting psychological vulnerabilities. Let's explore how these mental processes can become our biggest security weakness.
Exactly, and understanding these vulnerabilities is key. If we don't address the psychological side, even the most advanced security systems can be bypassed with a convincingly crafted email or message.
Let's dive into heuristics, those mental shortcuts we use daily. How do scammers exploit these to trick us into taking risky actions online?
Heuristics work great for quick decisions, but in cybersecurity, they're a double-edged sword. For instance, the availability heuristic means if we've seen a real bank email recently, we're more likely to trust a similar-looking phishing attempt without scrutiny.
I see. And what about anchoring bias? Does the first alarming statement in an email say, "Your account is compromised," influence whether people ignore red flags?
Precisely. That initial anchor grabs our focus, often overriding skepticism. Studies show that when people encounter urgent subject lines, they're up to 50% more likely to act without verifying the sender.
It's fascinating how scammers hijack these brain shortcuts. Are there other heuristics at play here?
Definitely. The representativeness heuristic, for example, makes us trust emails that match our expectations of a trusted source's style or branding, even if they're fakes.
Building on that, let's talk about confirmation bias. How does our tendency to favor familiar information make us easy targets for cybercriminals?
Confirmation bias leads us to believe what aligns with our hopes or beliefs. A classic example is a lottery scam email. If someone wants to believe they've won, they gloss over inconsistencies and red flags, focusing on the positive message.
That explains why so many people respond to prize or inheritance scams, despite obvious warning signs. Do cybercriminals actively tailor scams to exploit these personal desires?
Absolutely. Many phishing campaigns use demographic data or previous online behavior to craft messages that resonate with a recipient's interests or expectations, making the scam more believable.
Let's transition to framing and loss aversion. How does the way information is presented affect whether someone falls for a scam?
Framing is crucial. If a message emphasizes potential loss like "your account will be suspended," it triggers loss aversion, which is our instinct to avoid losses more than to seek gains. Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman's research shows people are twice as sensitive to losses as to equivalent gains.
So, scammers deliberately use fear-based framing to push recipients toward rash decisions. Does this urgency increase compliance rates?
Definitely. A 2022 study found that urgent, loss-framed cyber messages led to a 60% higher click-through rate compared to neutral ones. The emotional jolt disrupts rational analysis.
Now, emotional manipulation seems to be a recurring theme. Can you explain how fear, urgency, and even desperation override our usual caution online?
Emotions like fear and urgency kickstart our fight-or-flight response, narrowing focus and increasing impulsivity. For example, a phishing SMS claiming "your child is in danger, click for details" can provoke panic, prompting instant action before rational thought.
That's alarming. What role does desperation or greed play in making people vulnerable to scams?
When people face financial hardship or see a chance for easy money, their judgment is clouded. Research indicates that individuals with recent financial stress are 40% more likely to engage with lottery or loan scams.
Moving on, let's discuss reciprocity and social influence. How do scammers use these ingrained social behaviors to manipulate victims?
Attackers often impersonate trusted contacts, invoking reciprocity. If someone appears to do us a favor or requests help, we feel obliged to respond. Similarly, social proof like fake testimonials persuades us to follow the crowd, assuming others have vetted the action.
Are there notable cases where these tactics led to major breaches?
Absolutely. The 2016 Snapchat payroll data breach began with a spoofed executive email requesting confidential files. The recipient, feeling social and professional pressure, complied without cross-checking authenticity.
Let's shift to the digital environment itself. How does the design of websites and emails contribute to scam success?
Scammers meticulously mimic trusted brands' visual elements, logos, colors, typography to evoke the mere exposure effect. When something looks familiar, we automatically trust it. For instance, fake banking sites use identical layouts to lull users into entering credentials.
That's a subtle but powerful form of deception. Can even minor discrepancies get overlooked due to this effect?
Definitely. Eye tracking studies reveal users spend just 2-3 seconds scanning a login page. If it looks right at a glance, most won't inspect the URL or security indicators, making deception alarmingly easy.
Connected to that, what are dark patterns and how do they nudge users toward risky choices?
Dark patterns are design tactics that subtly steer users into decisions they might not otherwise make, like hiding the opt-out button or making the accept option more prominent. This can lead users to install malware or share unnecessary personal data.
Could you give a real-world example of a dark pattern in a scam context?
Sure, some fake antivirus pop-ups use urgent red banners and pre-checked boxes to rush users into downloading malicious software, exploiting both urgency and interface manipulation.
With all these vulnerabilities, what can individuals and organizations do to build psychological resilience against scams?
Education is paramount. Effective cybersecurity training must address not just technical skills, but also psychological tactics, teaching people to spot manipulation, question implausible offers, and recognize their own biases.
Are there proven strategies to encourage skepticism and slow down impulsive decision-making online?
Implementing friction like mandatory verification steps or pause prompts before major actions can disrupt impulsive clicks. A 2021 study showed that such interventions reduced successful phishing by 35% in organizations.
Finally, let's discuss technology's role in reducing user error. How can designers create systems that account for human psychological weaknesses?
Security features should be intuitive and user-friendly. For example, two-factor authentication adds a layer of friction, making it harder to act impulsively. Clear, jargon-free warnings and transparent UI design help users make safer choices.
Is there a risk that too much friction will annoy users or cause them to bypass security altogether?
It's a balancing act. The best systems integrate security seamlessly into workflows, so users aren't overwhelmed but are guided towards safe behavior. Regular feedback and positive reinforcement can also encourage compliance without frustration.
That's a great note to end on. Understanding both human psychology and thoughtful design is key to improving cybersecurity for all.